Did you know that Belle got wrecked in the first season, but the anime toned it down? Everything happens just like we see in the first season. After Belle is humiliated by Beat, the benevolent mistress, he runs off into the dungeon to drown his sorrows by fighting monsters. In there, he has some insane battles, and after that, he returns home completely bloodied and injured. Here, Essie spends the entire night looking for Belle, worried sick about him. She stays up, desperate, waiting for Belle, her mind filled with all kinds of thoughts. Her goddess instincts were screaming that something was wrong, and even after searching all the places he usually went, she still couldn't find him. And when they finally met, it wasn't on the street like in the anime, it was at home. Esther had returned to the church, thinking maybe he might have come back, and while she was in the room, lost in thought, he arrived, pushing the door open right into her face. When she saw him, a wave of relief washed over her worried body, almost bringing her to tears. This is until she saw the state he was in. His eyes were begging for forgiveness. He was covered in cuts and wounds, bloodied and completely exhausted. He was in such a bad shape that Estia didn't even know where to begin describing how wrecked Belle looked. And the lower half of his body, one of his knees, was in such terrible condition, it was a miracle that he was even standing. And later, when he told her he had gone into the dungeon, she got furious with him. After all, going to the dungeon at night with no armor is the dumbest thing you could do. But she didn't keep scolding him. Belle here wasn't himself. He was dark, silent. He refused to speak or explain why he had done it. And after that, Estia helped him to get to the bathroom so he could wash up. And that's when Belle said he wanted to become stronger. And when Estia decided to go back Hephaestus for the Estia knife. So yeah, the anime toned it down very much. The actual scene was more heavier. And besides this, there's a lot of content about Danmachi that the anime didn't show you, but I'm here to tell you about it. So subscribe to the channel to support my work and receive new content, and give me a like to support the video. In second place, do you know what that item was that Freya used to trick Belle and mess with his fauna? The status snitch. It is a very powerful magic item created by combining the ichor, the blood of gods, with some water ingredients. This item allows a deity other than the child's patron goddess to update the adventurer's status. In this case, there's no need to change fauna. Even though Belle had Estia's fauna, Freya would still be able to update it using the status snitch. And that explains why, even without him being fully converted, she was still able to update it. First, she used a magic item called Status Chief, a weaker version of the status snitch, to unlock Belle's fauna while distracting him by talking him. And then she used the status snitch to update Belle's fauna. And also, the fauna on his back was obviously an illusion she created using her own blood on Belle's back, so that even if he looked at it at the moment, he would see Freya's fauna. That way, she masterfully manipulated and messed with Belle's mind like no one else could, taking the trust he had in his own memories and mentally destabilizing him. However, this item has some weaknesses. It can't level someone up, and it can't grant new skills or magic. So if Belle had the potential to gain a new skill or magic, or even level up, he wouldn't be able to obtain it unless Esther did it manually, but it still is a great item. In third place, do you know how Freya gave Belle the grimoire so he could learn Firebolt? This happens in the chapter 3 of volume 2 in the light novel, back when Belle was still getting to know Lily. One day, as a normal day, he left the dungeon, and Freya, who was always watching him, noticed that he had gotten stronger again. Her eyes lit up with excitement as she followed Belle. To her, this was amazing, but he needed to shine even brighter. Now that Belle had her attention, he had to shine even more than he already was. And of course, she said all of this with that deeply obsessed, love-struck look that she always had when watching the boy. Freya declared that Belle's task now was to grow stronger and become worthy of her, because she liked the strong man. And inclusive, because of the intense way she looked at him, Belle noticed her gaze again, which amused Freya even more. And soon after, she decided it was time for him to learn magic, since she could see into his soul and knew he didn't have any. So she went to her bookshelf, picked out a grimoire meant to Belle, and decided how she would give it to him. And then she left it at the benevolent mistress while disguised as a Sheer. In fact, if you pay attention, Sheer basically pushes the book toward Belle. While they were chatting casually, she brought up the topic of books, trying to draw Belle's attention to the grimoire and pretty much convinced him to take it and read it. And even Mamma Mia didn't complain, knowing it was just another one of the goddess' games and schemes. And Freya's duality has always been there, we just didn't see it. In 4th place, did you know Freya manipulated Belle on a whole new level? She used extremely high-level mental manipulation to seriously mess with Belle's mind. She wanted to change the way Belle saw reality. She wanted to make absolutely sure that nothing would go wrong with her plan, which no doubt was very thought out and only failed because of a few unpredictable elements. The plan was so complete that, as I mentioned before, she even used the status snitch to deepen the illusion she was planting in Belle's mind, to shatter his perception. She wanted to break Belle's emotionally completely, leaving him unable to trust his own memories or reality, making him feel confused about everything happening around him. She wanted to hurt Belle in ways he couldn't even understand, just so she could be the one to heal him afterwards. Freya was waving a net around Belle so tightly that she became the only person he could trust, the only one he felt safe with, as if she were his only ally. She wanted to turn him into a devoted follower, someone who could love her just like the rest of her familia. And this plan of Freya's, brutal and cruel as it was, shows both of her witch-like side and her incredible intelligent one. It shows why she is to be feared. Beyond her terrifying power, she is also highly intelligent and cunning, willing to do whatever it takes to see her plans succeed. Freya is brilliant, and of course brutal. In 5th place, did you know that a god's authority is different from their Arcanum? Basically, their Arcanum is a god's divine power, the incredible powerful force they keep sealed while in the mortal world, so they don't ruin the fun or interfere too much with the world's fate. That's why any god who tries to use their Arcanum is immediately sent back to the Tenkai by the other gods in the mortal realm. However, authorities is something else, a special power of the gods that doesn't count as cheating. For example, Hephaestus and Goibniu are blacksmiths. Their authorities are related to forging. They still work and create amazing items even after descending to the lower world. Toma has the authority over wine, allowing him to produce extremely addictive and potent wines without needing to tap into his divinity. Miaha and the Insect are pharmacists, making incredible medicines and potions without using divine power. In the same way, we have Freya's charm, her authority as the embodiment of beauty. Even though it's so potent that Loki calls it disgusting cheating, it's not divine. In fact, even Horny was able to use that authority when she transformed it into Freya, showing that it's not directly tied to Freya's divinity, and yes, being the embodiment of beauty. And because a god's authorities aren't tied to their Arcanum, they are allowed to use them actively, and in fact, they are even used as a form of trial. Due to the many gods and authorities that started interfering in the world during the Age of Gods, some authorities exist to help mortals, while others exist to challenge them. And the gods hope that the child who can overcome the trials brought by their authorities will become the last hero, the one who overcome the gods. In 6th place, do you know why Freya took so long to go after Belle? Freya became obsessed with Belle the moment she met him, so why did she take so long to actually pursue him? It is because it took time for her to become corrupted. As we know, her love for Belle eventually drove Freya into a state of madness where she no longer knew who she was, wanting to be sure while still using Freya's methods and everything else. She was still just a role for Freya, she hadn't gone mad yet, which made things much easier for her. She wanted Belle to shine brighter and brighter, to grow and mature, get stronger and become more worthy of her, since she liked strong men. She met Belle by chance and became obsessed with his pure soul. She wanted to know what color he would turn into, whether he had remained pure or what would happen to him. That is why she wanted to wait and observe. Even though she could have colored his soul herself, she felt she had plenty of time for that. For now, she wanted to watch this boy grow and overcome the trials ahead. At first, she didn't go after him right away because she didn't know what family he belonged to. After all, picking a fight with Loki would have been tricky, but then when she discovers he's with Astia and that she will have to remove the goddess, she's calm. After all, Astia is weak. This city was her garden, so there was no problem letting her cat play in it for a while. At this point, she thought she could easily manipulate Belle just by talking to him in the street as the girl he met, but she held back. There was no reason to do that yet. So we can see that back then, Freya is still fully Freya, not yet caught in the confusion between Sheer and Freya, was much more direct and cruel compared to the current Freya, who is deeply conflicted and confused. So that's why she took so long to go after Belle, because she didn't need to at that time. And that is it, guys. If you liked it, comment below your opinion and favorite fact, subscribe to the channel to support my work, and give me a like to support the video. Now, I'm out.